Good morning, everybody. Welcome back to Steve's Random Stuff. Today I'm back out here on Lake Sonoma. As you can see the bridge behind me there. Just launched the boat. It's about 10 to 6 in the morning. July 3rd, trying to beat the holiday crowd this weekend. Get out here a little early and have a little fun. Just going to keep things simple today. Going to try some topwater this morning, and then I'm probably just going to throw some plastics and stuff. Go to that Magnum shaky head that I was throwing a couple weeks ago, and then use an old school bait, the old Zoom brush hog, and I haven't thrown that in quite a few years. It used to be a staple up here in Lake Sonoma. For anyone that was fishing 20-25 years ago, that's basically all we threw was a Zoom brush hog. So I'm gonna put that on. Had to dig out my old box of baits, and a little windy this morning once again, so I'm gonna head down the lake, try and find some calm water, throw some top water hopefully, and see what we can do. Water temperature here at the boat ramp 71 degrees, and we're going to get down the lake and get busy and have some fun. So stay tuned. We'll check back with you later. First fish of the day. Need the pliers for that one. Little guy. Set the hook. Set the hook. Alrighty. Alrighty. On the old Dixon, of course. A little 1 pounder, 1.5 pounder. Not bad. First keeper. That fish hit that bait. And he just sat there and didn't feel a thing on it. I just kind of waited for the weight, and then he was sitting there, so I set the hook. Good old Vixen. Alright, folks, topwater bite was kind of a bust this morning, so I'm just gonna stick to some plastic, extract the bottom. Got some trees here on a little point, and I'll work some trees that are behind me here. As mentioned earlier, get organized here. As I mentioned earlier, I'm gonna throw a bait that I haven't thrown in a long time. Again, it used to be a staple up here at Lake Sonoma. For those of you who have been around for a while, like I said, 20-25 years ago, you didn't come to Lake Sonoma without some brush hogs. And so I had to break out my old box, and I got a bunch of brush hogs here, different colors. Green pumpkin, of course, you know, green pumpkin works with everything. Another staple that's always been around is watermelon red, and that's always good color. And then the watermelon seed, which is just more of a green with black flake. The watermelon seed's a great color as well. That's what I actually just put on here. In the summertime, I like to use the red bug. Awesome color. And then night fishing. Lake Sonoma was really, we used to do a lot of night fishing up here, and couldn't go wrong with either the black and emerald. It's kind of a double-sided bait there, or the black and red, which I got one here somewhere. Black and red there, and those two are at nighttime are just awesome baits to throw up here. And then California 420, I think that's what this is, a little bit darker bait. It's kind of a watermelon red, but a little bit darker color. And then of course June bug. June bug's a good summertime color as well. Good nighttime color. And then last but not least is probably peanut butter and jelly. The brown and purple, great color as well. So that's kind of the rundown on the brush hogs. I'm gonna throw those for a while today. I'll put a little scent on those. Kind of going back to the old school method here. And then what I was throwing the other week was this Magnum shaky head. And you can see that there, big head. It's a 5/0 hook on there. And what these are, either the Strike King mag shaky mag heads. Come in anywhere from 1/4 ounce to 3/4 ounce. I think I'm throwing, might be a 1/2 ounce. I got them all kind of mixed up here. And then I like the big worms on these, the big 5/0 hook. One of my favorites is the big bite baits. Hook worm right there. This is called the it's a 7.5 inch tour swim worm. It's out by Big Bite, either in green pumpkin or the red bug color. And then the other one I was throwing is the Yamamoto speed worm. Same colors on that. Just again, keep it simple. I don't need a lot of colors. These big worms, 2 colors I think is all I throw on those baits. So that is the speed worm. And of course with these ones here, you do have to split the tail. And then I might color the tip of that chartreuse with my marker to give it a little bluegill color there. And then I'll probably throw the Mr. B jig. I got a kind of a sprayed grass color on there right now, and so I'll probably throw the jig and alternate probably between those 3 baits and just drag it around through the trees and stuff. I'm kind of down on the main lake in the S-turns right now, and like I said, trying to beat the crowd. It's pretty quiet out here today. Not too many vehicles in the parking lot yet. So that's kind of the rundown on some of the baits, and give these a try. I really like these Magnum shaky heads. I throw it on a bait caster, 15 to 17 pound line, or even up to 20. So pretty good selection. Something the fish don't see too much either. So give that a shot. So let's get back to fishing. All right, folks, I just had the camera off for a bit, but I just got one on the Mr. B jig. Right there, Mr. B jig there, the Yamamoto trailer. Didn't feel a bite, just got heavy. Started swimming off with it. Little Lake Sonoma special, 1 pounder. Kind of a natural color, you can see that there. And this is the deep water structure jigs, that bigger head, 3/4 ounce. So I'm fishing out deeper a little. So let's see if I can get another one on this. And I'm using kind of the tail end of a Yamamoto Mermaid. Cut the head off of it, pick the legs off, and just using the legs on the Mermaid. So let's see if we can do that again. Go. What color do I use? So I've got 3 bites on the brush hog so far, but they're just not eating it. So I'm throwing the watermelon seed Let's try the red bug. Really like this color. I don't know if any of you guys fish the red bug color. Like I mentioned, I throw it in the big worm, throw it on the Exo stick by Biospawn. It's a great color for the Exo stick. And they also have the plasma tail worms by Biospawn. I really love those worms too. But great color, summertime. Lake Sonoma, Clear Lake. Got to put a little little liquid mayhem on there. Go. Finally another fish. Dead stick and a shaky head on the bottom. Oh, 1 pounder. Switched to just a standard shaky head, 1/4 ounce Exo worm. It's kind of like a trick worm. Floats up a little bit. So finally got a fish. Stop to take a snack, eat a snack, and that's what happens. So get back at it. Another one on the worm. These are the 6-inch X-Zone Deception worms. It's a label right there. Green pumpkin. There you go. Green pumpkin on green pumpkin head. Little one. Alright, let me show you what I got rigged up. I got another shaky head on, of course. I switched to a different worm. This is, I think, a Reaction Innovations worm. I've been seeing a lot of bluegill swimming around. They're kind of this color, kind of this green weenie worm. They got a chartreuse tail, so I put some chartreuse on that. And just a little tip on the shaky head. See how I got that rigged up? when I this has a big barb on it, so you can see that there. So I don't go through the center, the front center of the hook. I go through the head at an angle, going downward. And I've shown this before, but if you're new to the channel, maybe you haven't seen it. So you want to go through it at an angle on that worm. It looks kind of odd, but once you get it up on that worm, push it up on the barb. All right, you want that worm to hang straight. And I'm just going to kind of go into the worm, and it's going to sit pretty straight on that jig head, all right, instead of being at an angle. And I'm on a tree, so hang on. All right, so like I said, you see that how it sits on that head. Now, if you were to run it through the center of the bait, that bait would come down your hook and then bend upward. So you don't want that. You want it to sit straight like this. More natural presentation. Bluegill imitator. Got a couple dinks on that, so it's been kind of a slow bite here in Cherry Creek. Water temperature is a bit warmer. It's like 77 degrees up here in the creek. Over in Warm Spring or Dry Creek, I was over in Dry Creek just before this. It was about 72, 73. So a lot warmer up here in Cherry, which is pretty typical. Dry Creek's usually a lot cooler. Anyways, let's put this back out there. But I think, as you're seeing, mostly small fish. There's a whole bunch of little dinks. So, you know, it's better than working. Coming out here on a Thursday, there's hardly anybody out here, or actually virtually nobody out here. One little boat across the creek from me, but I haven't seen another person all day while I've been fishing. And there's only been a handful of boats in the parking lot when I got here this morning. So I'm sure that'll change this afternoon as people start coming in for the weekend. Big 4th of July weekend here, so it's gonna get crazy, I'm sure, and hopefully I can get off the water before the crowd. So, but anyways, it's still early. It's not even noon yet, and we're gonna keep fishing and see if we can get a few more. Swimming that worm, and he bit me on the way up. So they're chasing bluegill. Alrighty, folks, have the camera off for a bit again. They're up next to the bush. Good old Mr. B spinnerbait right there. It's got that black nickel blade on the top. It's one I really like using. Nice little keeper. You hit it twice. All right, so thanks, Mr. B. Very much the same bait I use all the time. Got that Hazadong shad for mega bass on the back. Water clarity, I haven't really mentioned water clarity. It's probably like 7-8 feet at least. It's hard to tell with the wind chop, but I can see this bait down with the blades flashing. Probably at least 7 or 8 feet in the water. And so water clarity is really good, but you know, it's windy. So I just thought I'd take a change from throwing a shaky head and plastics to throw a spinnerbait up here in one of the creeks, and got rewarded there. So I'm gonna try the spinnerbait in the wind, as always. So just try it, keep going. Alright folks, you can see I'm throwing a spinnerbait still. I'm throwing a Mr. B spinnerbait. Getting a couple bites. But the way you reel these things, as you can see, what I'm doing, I'm throwing it out there. I'm letting it sink down a little bit. That's how I work these baits. Let it sink down, and I give it a quick snap. That gets those blades spinning, and then you can see I'm rolling it really slow, really slow. And that bait will just stay down there in those blades, those high quality swivels that are on these baits. They just spin and spin and spin. And I've gotten a lot of bites doing that. These baits are not to, you know, they're not the style that you're going to burn. Mr. B spinnerbaits will run nice and straight and true as long as you keep them tuned and roll them nice and slow and easy. You don't want to burn them, because if you do burn them, then they do tend to have a tendency to roll, but they're not designed to do that, right? They're designed to be just slow rolled, and those blades will just spin like crazy. And so as you can see, I'm going really slow. This is a 6:3 gear ratio reel, 6:3 to 1 Daiwa, and just keep it as slow and steady, and it'll just track nice and straight and straight. Get it out there. Depending on how steep your bank is, I'll count down 3, 4, 5 times, you know, 5 seconds before I engage, and I just give a quick snap. I have to make sure those blades are turning, and you can feel it. You can definitely feel it. This is a Dobbin 743 HP rod, 15-pound test, I believe, and just nice and steady. A lot of times they'll hit that bait as you let that fall up against the bank. Let that fall down and give it a snap. Get those blades turning. You can tell, like I say, if you don't feel those blades turning, snap it again. Get those going, and then nice and steady and slow. And that bait will actually kind of sink down a little as you're reeling slow. And that's how those fish will come up and just grab that bait. A lot of people complain that they tend to roll, and they will roll on you, but like I said, they're not made to be burned. It's a nice spinnerbait, high quality swivels, and let those blades do the action. All right. I was just snagged there on a log or something, and I use these little cannonballs. Hook that on my line, slide it down there. This is a 2-ounce weight with just a little clip. See that there? 2-ounce weight with the clip, really inexpensive. Keep these in the cup holder in the boat. Bait gets hung up, slide it down the length, knocks it right off the log almost every time. Give that a try. Like I said, really inexpensive. You get a pack of clips for a couple bucks. You can see those clips, and then, you know, whatever these are, $1 a piece. This is actually a 3-ounce. I recommend 2 or 3 ounce. 1 ounce are just too light, so I wouldn't go anything less than 2, and this is a 3. Alright folks, that is it for the day. I'm gonna head in a little early just to hopefully beat the crowd while the weekenders coming up here to the lake. Already starting to see a little bit more boat traffic on the lake, so people are starting to get here. So gonna get off a little early. Kind of a tough day, slow. Really kind of hoping to get a fish on the brush hog. Tried like 3 different colors. I felt like I was getting some bites on it, but that could have also been some bluegill. I did notice on a couple of times where the bluegill were biting on my line right off the surface. So they're kind of chasing the line above the water and below the water, and so some of those bites could have just been bluegill, but who knows. They felt good. I felt like I was getting bit on the brush hogs, but they just weren't eating it. So spinnerbait bite kind of fizzled out once I got out of Cherry Creek. Water temperature, I think most, up in Cherry was like 77 plus. Across the lake we're like 73, maybe 74, and So kind of varies. Cherry Creek's probably the warmest part of the lake, and anyways, yeah, caught some fish on a shaky head, spinnerbait, and I think I got one on a jig, and I think I put everything else away. Didn't get anything on the Magnum shaky head, just a smaller shaky head, but kind of a slow day. I did try drop shotting for a little bit, didn't get anything on that. Ran around a lot, went up to Dry Creek, Cherry Creek. Now I'm over in Chitter Creek, as most people call it. I think it's actually called Smith Creek. It's where the outhouse is in the S-turns. But anyways, that's it for the day. Hopefully some of that information, some of those technique tips help you out if you're coming up to the lake. Like I said, the bites was kind of slow for me today, and the weather's been kind of weird. It's hot, but it's kind of some high clouds, as you can probably see behind me as well. But anyways, I'm gonna hit it, and we'll talk to you next time. Take care.